Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Boundless Brains Talk Radio. I'm your host, Radio Dave, broadcasting from Hobart, Indiana. Your voice matters here. I hope to hear you live on the broadcast. You can talk about anything that's on your mind or any subject. You can also use the chat. I don't know if you noticed, but we have a new neon logo. Before we get started on the story that I want to share with you, it's been really hectic going through this problem that I've been having. Excuse me. But first, I know people are sick of hearing about the Iran war and stuff, and thank goodness that it's hopefully over. So our economy can get back hopefully to normal. Gas prices may be coming down and possibly food prices. But I want somebody to tell me their opinion on this or if they know why. But President Trump made a speech on how much oil is under our feet in the United States. And he was telling other countries to pull their tankers up and we'll fill them. But yet our gas prices went so high. I mean, if we have that much oil, I know we do our own refinery of gas, so why wouldn't our prices stay low? I don't quite understand that. If anybody's got a idea or an opinion on it, I'd like to hear it. Okay, enough of that. Before I get started, I have a obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, which makes this problem worse for me. I've had it since I was a little boy. I take anxiety medicine if it gets bad. I have to have everything cleaned, centered, and shining. It's worse when I leave my apartment because of the filth. It was so bad I was going to start cleaning the building myself. But I thought, no, I'm not going to clean when I pay rent to live in a clean building. Today I'm pulling back the curtain on what's really happening inside a 55 plus senior building owned by Real America. They are out of Indianapolis and they have several buildings down there also. If you run across a building that says it's owned by Real America, avoid it. They're not truthful. And the people that work for them are not truthful either, like the property manager. We've went through 4 property managers since I've lived here. I've lived here since the day it opened. And what I'm about to tell you is not in their brochures, not in their reports, and definitely not in their answers to the state. I've been working very closely with the state. I've been working with an attorney, a housing attorney at the Indiana Attorney General's office, and he's been great. I mean, he's been giving me advice. He can't do nothing as far as Real America, but he said that he can go after agencies that don't respond. So I wrote letters, like I said, to the Attorney General, and I got a response from them. And then I wrote 2 letters to the health department in Lake County, Indiana, and sent them an email, and I got no response. The first letter I sent was just about the condition of the building. So I thought, okay, they didn't answer that one, and that's what they should have done, was answer the first letter. So the second letter, I added my medical condition to it, and Still no response. I thought I would get a response then because a lot of the tenants here are in poor health. So then I called the health department, and the person that picked up the phone, I believe it was a receptionist, said, "I'll transfer you." And I've got a gentleman by the name of Christopher Connolly, and I got his voicemail. So I left my name and number and the reason why I was calling. So finally, that was on the 20th of March, or I'm sorry, to the 20th of May. I sent the letters out May 1st and May 12th with no response. So finally, on the 26th, I get a call from this guy, Christopher Connolly, and I start questioning, did you get any of my letters or my email? And he got pretty defensive right away with an attitude and says, "No, I got nothing. I never received anything." He goes, "How can I help you?" And I said, "I would like to talk about the letters and stuff." And he says, "How can I help you?" And he kept saying that. So I told him, first of all, you can drop the attitude. And he said that he probably is not going to inspect the building. And I just couldn't believe it. I mean, what is our health department for? So anyways, he tells me that I'll call the property manager. And I says, "Well, you know what? With you not responding the way you did and the way you had this attitude, I don't need your type of help." And he called the property manager anyways. So then right away my phone rings after that, after he calls the property manager, and it's the property manager calling me. And she says to me, "Why didn't you come to me first and tell me what's going on?" And I'm thinking to myself, you're the property manager. You're supposed to be inspecting the building. So I tell her that. And she goes, "Oh, I inspect the building." And I'm like, "No, you don't, because this place is filthy." I said, the stairs are filled with garbage and they never get swept, never get mopped. Same with the hallways. And at each end of the hallways, we have a garbage room. And now this garbage room is enclosed in a little room. And you open a chute, put the bag in, and it drops it down into a bin. So inside there, the floor is just nasty. It's full of bacteria. The walls are full of bacteria. The door to the chute is full of bacteria. I always have to put on gloves because if I get any bacterial infection, it could kill me. So I explain a lot of this to him, or I'm sorry, to her. And she says, "Well, you still should have come to me." I said, "I have come to you before, and you did nothing but made excuses for the maintenance man and why he can't clean and stuff." And so I said to her, I said, "You know what?" I said, "Do you want to go on a tour with me of the building?" And she goes, "Yeah. When do you want to do it?" I said, "Right now." So I go down there and I meet her, and we're walking through the building, and her reactions are just, I mean, she got, like, this defensive attitude just like the health department. Um, she couldn't explain the filth, she was just making up excuses, and a lot of times she was just silent, or her confusion, or her lack of, answers. She knows I have OCD when my apartment gets inspected by her. The people that own the building they don't even know what's happening in their own building. So I show her, the garbage room and everything and the windows, and I pull up the shades on the levels between the stairs. There's insects that have been there for like 8 months laying on the floor. The floors are dirty. So I raise the blinds, and the ledges are just filled with insects, flies, and everything else. So she says to me, well, you know that when there's a door right there on the east side. And she says, when the door's open, flies do fly in. I said, yeah, I'm not stupid, but when they die inside the window ledge, you just don't leave them there. You usually clean them up. I mean, when I first moved into this building, like I said, I was the first one to move in, and we had a great maintenance man that cleaned everything every week. I mean, he swept, mopped, ran the vacuum, cleaned the garbage room, and that's basically the main room should be disinfected. I mean, like I said, we got a lot of ill people like me. I mean, I had a kidney transplant, so my immune system is low, and I have blood work done every 3 months, and my white blood count is low. So I'm more susceptible of getting a infection, and it could kill me. So after we got through with that, she basically said to me if I didn't like it, I could move. And then she turned it around. She goes, "Oh, well, you just want to get rid of me. You just want me to get fired." And I'm like, "No, I just want you to do your job. I mean, you tell me that you inspect a building, and I show you otherwise, and you get defensive. I mean, that's your job, and that's the maintenance job, according to Real America." And I'll get to that a little bit later, because the housing authority contacted me, because they contacted Real America and told me what they asked them and what was said, and it basically wasn't true. Most of it was lies. Real America basically lies to everyone, and I will also prove that. So, anyways, this Christopher Connolly from the health department says to me, "Well, how about if me and you tour the building like tomorrow? Let's make an appointment, like say about 2 p.m." I said, "Good." I said, "Well, we'll do that." Well, the next day at 2 p.m., he doesn't show up. I get no knock at my apartment door, nothing. So it's probably about 2:15, maybe 2:20, and I hear commotion in the hallway. So I go out there, and there's the health inspector and another guy with him, and the property manager and the maintenance man. And I looked at him and I said, "I thought we had an appointment at 2 p.m." He goes, "Oh, no." He goes, "There's no need." He said, "Everything I saw is unfounded. So we're done with this inspection." I said, "Well, what about the bacteria on the walls and the door and stuff and on the floor in the garbage room. He says to me, I mean, I can't believe this. He says to me, besides the complaints being unfounded, because they went down and they removed the bugs out of the ledge, but the floor was still dirty and the garbage room was still filthy. So he told me, get this just floored me. And when I called the housing attorney at the attorney general's office, he couldn't believe what this man said to me. He told me that I would have to pay for the bacteria testing to be proven or wait till somebody gets ill. And I just looked at him and I thought, "Are you serious? Somebody's gotta get ill?" I said, "If I get ill, it's gonna kill me." And he goes, "Everything's fine here." I said, "Are you blind?" I said, "What do you mean everything's fine?" He said, "Everything's fine." So, also, before he came to that appointment, he sent me an email, and it was marked March 8th, and he says it was either March 8th or May 8th, one of the 2, and he says in the email, "Mr. Ward, you're we inspected and you're once again, everything's unfounded." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I didn't talk to you until the 26th of May, and you knew nothing about the emails and everything else." So I confronted him about that, and he actually lied. He said, "Oh, it's my mistake. I came, May 8th for another situation about food." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And he just walks away. I mean, he was just a total I mean, he was an idiot. Very, very cocky. So I said, "Well, it don't matter. I mean, they cleaned one ledge of bugs and stuff." And I said, "I still have pictures and videos of everything." So he goes, "Well, you just send them to whoever you have to. And why don't you just deal with the attorney general?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I'll contact him. I'll contact their lawyer." So I sent the letter of what all took place with the health department and Mr. Connolly, and the house attorney at the attorney general's office says, "I can't do litigation for you, but I would advise you to get an attorney." So, um, I just couldn't believe that he said that to me about the bacteria and people getting ill. This is totally a public health failure, and it's not right. I mean, I've heard other people talk about the same thing with the health department, and this guy actually should be fired. And like I said, when I get an attorney, because I sent a thing to Legal Services out of Indiana, and they wrote me back, and they are shorthanded. The lady that I called to find out if my intake was pending, she said yes. And she said, "It may take some time for you to get a response from them because they laid off a lot of people in October." And it's kind of funny, the day I called and asked that, I got an email from them said that we lack the resources, but, your complaint does have merit, you know, and I advise you to get a private attorney. And they gave me a listing for attorneys with pro bono and the Lake County Bar Association. So I thought that was pretty nice of them. They realize I do have a case, so I'm going to move forward with that today. So okay, it's been one thing after another. I've wrote so many letters to so many people, and even the housing authority. It took me a long time to get a response from them. And the response I finally got is when they contacted Real America. So, I have done this for every senior tenant. Many have come to me talking about the same problems I'm writing about. They think I'm the advocate for the problem. I guess I am. The problem is they are afraid about to tell anybody about it because they may be evicted, harassed, or the lease won't be renewed. I told them that Indiana has a no retaliation law. You make complaints, and if they harass or evict you, they can be sued. And that still doesn't matter. So I mean, they're still afraid to say anything at all. So, but I'm not. I speak my mind and always have. So, but I can't convince them to, give me backing. So maybe it'll all change when maybe if I turn this into a class action suit to the ones that are actually coming to my door and telling me that they agree with me, but won't say anything. So this is the building they don't want you to see, like I explained, the garbage room is really a bad place. I mean, for anybody to go in there, I mean, I wear gloves, sometimes a mask. So after the inspector and the property manager and the maintenance man and the other guy went downstairs, I thought, well, you know what? I found my ultraviolet light that detects bacteria that the naked eye can't see. So I went down to the garbage room, and when you open the door and go in, actually a light pops on. So it's hard to use that light. So I'm shining the light at the walls and stuff, and I'm snapping pictures. And then I go down, down the hallways and stuff, and I go into, they got like a craft room. And I went in there and I pulled up the shades of what I showed the property manager, and the flies were still there on the ledge. So he didn't inspect the building. He just went down and inspected that one ledge and the ledges on the second floor and the garbage room, and that was the end of it. Oh, and he also told me, "Oh, I've seen worse." And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you probably didn't do nothing about that either. You know, people have told me that Lake County is one of the corrupt counties in Indiana. So I don't know, you know. Use your own imagination on that one. So I don't understand why there's a lack of cleaning. I mean, like I said, when I first moved in here, this guy was a lot older. I mean, the maintenance guy we got now is just, he's young and just lazy, I guess. So that was the tour with the property manager. She had no clue what to say. She just got defensive and, started lashing out at me like she always does. So, um, yeah, in the end, it's going to come back to bite her. That's for sure. Okay, let's get back to the housing authority that finally sent me an email. Real America told the housing authority the building is cleaned weekly and deeply cleaned quarterly. That is simply not true. They don't come out here to inspect their own building. I mean, the owners don't really care. I mean, they've lied to just about everybody, and the property manager is just a puppet, and she'll lie for them too. So, in addition to weekly filthy common areas, including stairwells with dead insects that have remained untouched for over a year. So, their response, Real America's response was the maintenance and property manager are responsible for cleaning all common areas. This includes sweeping, mopping, and dusting. In-house cleanings. The property will be having quarterly deep cleanings. Yeah, okay. So another one of my complaint was this east door down here. The one day I tried to go out of it and it's got one of them push bars and I couldn't get it open. I kept pushing on it and pushing on it and pushing on it. I'm thinking to myself, one of these elderly old ladies that come out through that door, there's no way they're going to open this door. So I backed up a few steps and I took a running start and I hit the door so hard. I mean, it popped open finally, but I'm thinking to myself, man, if there was a fire and the people like on the first floor have to come through that door and majority of them are all women, how are they going to get out of the building, you know? Especially if the fire is back towards the main doors. They would have been trapped until maybe I came down and broke open the door like I did, but this is what they said. An exterior exit door, this was my complaint, an exterior exit door that is extremely difficult to open and repeatedly fails, which is true, and it's filthy. I mean, the door is just not made to be entry and exit door for the building. So I said it repeatedly fails, creating a safety hazard. So this is what Real America says. The doors are adjusted per proper installation standards. Okay. Well, everything around here is cheap. It's all cheaply built. Yeah, the doors may be standard, but they're installed incorrectly and they're wearing out faster than we can go through them. And they told the housing authority, we are in the process of obtaining bids to update the exterior doors. I have heard this for 2 years. How long does it take to get a bid on replacing the doors? This is what Real America does. They deny everything and they lie. It doesn't take 2 years to get bids on doors. Then the housing authority asked them about the drafty windows and the patio doors with poor insulation, causing extreme temperature fluctuations and high utility bills. Now, I've actually taken a surface temperature during the winter, and you could feel the cold air coming through the patio door. And when I go to the door and hit the thermometer over there, it's 53 degrees. It's like 58 degrees around the windows. And then I keep my temperature at 69s. And basically, I have to wear a hoodie to stay warm because I'm not going to pay NIPSCO high utility bills. So this is what their answer was. Once again, All windows and doors have been inspected and installed proper standards. Okay. I don't know what proper standards mean, but I don't care about proper standards. I care about it's cold. I mean, I can't run my AC during the summer. I've got a big utility fan that I blow on me, and then when I go to bed, I take it with me. And I mean, there's been people telling me that they run their air, and I notice it too, like during the winter. It's the only time I turn on the furnace, and it'll run and then shut off, and then it'll start up again. So it's continuously running basically, and we've got heat pumps, so it takes about 7 to 10 minutes. It blows cold air for that time before it heats up. So we got 7 to 10 minutes of cold air coming through the vents. And then they don't even blow that hard. So there's something wrong. And even the maintenance man told me that these heat pumps are starting to go out. And I believe them because I can hear them. They're outside my bedroom window. I'm up on the third floor, but I can hear them. I mean, they're struggling. And also the furnace, had I could hear my furnace at times squeal like it's struggling too. And they said if the heat pump is not working properly, that your furnace will not work properly either, nor will it blow through the vents because it's trying to force it out. So basically, I've asked the property manager to ask Real America if they could put storm windows and a storm door on, you know. I mean, I met a maintenance guy that came up to talk with the maintenance guy here, and he told me that all their buildings down in Indianapolis have storm windows and storm doors, and I was furious. I mean, I told him, "This is crazy. We shouldn't have to do this." I mean, like I said, there was a lady I know that I've known her a long time. She lives on the first floor. She had, during the winter, a humidity problem inside her apartment. She was collecting water from her bedroom in a bucket and have to empty it all the time. Like, and then they acted like that was normal. And then she said it was so cold in there that she kept moving things around because she like put her computer desk by the window and she would freeze. And then she would have $200 utility bills because she would crank up the heat. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. $200. That's half of what she makes in her Social Security. Oh, and that's another thing too. I don't know if I've got that, but I'll tell you towards the end if I don't see it. So that was their response. Oh, and they said, besides the proper standards, which I still don't understand what that is, a resident can request additional and or updated weather stripping. They have never, in the 8 years that I've lived here, ever offered stripping after I've complained about it being drafty and cold to the property manager, because that's who we're supposed to go through. We're not supposed to contact Real America. But, I'm fed up, and the housing authority took action, and I thank goodness they did. Well, we'll see what happens, but, yeah, I weather stripped all the windows and the doors myself again, and it cost me quite a bit. Uh, they're not gonna reimburse me of the money, so that's the price you pay. I've been looking for places elsewhere, but I really don't wanna move. I mean, I'm getting up there in age too, and I like where I live. I really do. I mean, I like my apartment even though it's not totally, put together right, which we'll get to that in a second. So I said there's inadequate insulation throughout the building, making it difficult to maintain temperatures in winter and summer. This is the response Real America. And I don't know how they can make this response because they never sat in one of these apartments or asked any tenant about it. This has not been substantiated. I was furious. What do you This has not been substantiated. You haven't even come out here and checked during the winter. Then you would know it's drafty and you need to do something about it. The problem is they don't like to spend money. They have done nothing to upgrade this place except spray the balconies with some brown stuff. They never stained them. The wood is splitting. When I moved in, I had to remove screws from the deck between the deck boards. There was tons of screws between them. So then the complaint to the housing authority, they asked Real America, serious and long-standing havoc issues that appears to involve improper installation, which is true. I got a buddy that's in the havoc business and he's been in it for 30 years. My intake vent doesn't have a duct in it. It has a drywall box in it. So that means everything that's pulled into it is majority of it is escaping probably through the box because it's not sealed with a duct. So then there was a big square opening to the utility room, and that's where the air is supposed to go, and then the furnace, it gets filtered through the furnace and then back through the system vents. So for some reason, I can get into my utility room because the lock is broke on the one side of the door. So I open it, and all of a sudden, there's a vent covering the hole. So I asked the maintenance guy, I said, why is there a vent there? I said, there should be ductwork there. He says, oh, the fire department told me to put that up there. I'm like, what? The fire department told you to put up a vent? I just didn't believe it. Okay. So the issue has affected heating performance, indoor air quality, which is true. I have OCD, and since he put that vent up there, it seems to be I could run a dust mop and it would be clean because I'm so clean. I clean upon clean. And now my duster, my Swiffer duster picks up a little bit of dust when it never did before. So something ain't right. So they said, yeah, the indoor quality has resulted in higher utility costs for residents. Here we go again. This has not been substantiated. We have had representatives out and conducted unannounced visits and did substantiate the claims. Oh, okay. All right. Whatever. So, like I said, I was the first resident to move in. I know this building very well, and what they wrote is not true. Now, the maintenance man is quitting, and I think today or tomorrow, today or tomorrow is his last day. He wasn't doing the work that he was supposed to, the cleaning, and the property manager made nothing but excuses for him. Um, like I said, he's either quitting today or tomorrow. The timing is suspicious. Accountability is coming, and he just walks away. So let me tell you a little bit about the history of this building. You're going to be really amazed at this one. I don't mean to be dragging this on, but I really want to get this out there and let people know, do not rent from Real America. Okay, Real America is a company that kept going to the Hobart City Council here in Indiana, asking for extensions. They received the first two, and that's because they had to find people to finish the building. The contractor and the union workers walked off the job. So the scabs finished the job, and it showed. They're the ones that probably dropped all the screws in there, and they finished the decks because my end of the building was last to be done. So, when I first came into this apartment, I looked at it and I said, "Oh, this is nice." But the more you live here, you start noticing things. And there's a lot of things that are wrong and cheap. I mean, the whole building's cheap. I think it's gonna fall down. I mean, I never felt the big trucks rolling down 51 and feel the floor shake, and then walking down the hallway and getting towards the elevators and the stairwell and things in the hallway like uh, I forget what they call them, but it's like a dresser thing, and you could hear it rattling as you walk by it. So I'm like, I keep telling other tenants, I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be riding it down to the first floor." So I think I was trying to get a hold of the name of the contractor, but I wasn't able to do so. Um, I wanted to find out why they walked off the job. I think it was because they wanted the contractor to cut corners, and he didn't wanna do that for a senior facility, and it might be a little bit about money. I mean, like I said, everything is cheap. I mean, when I looked at the appliances, I said, "Oh my god, they're Kenmore." That used to be a Sears product. Sears isn't even in business anymore. And the maintenance man said, "You can't get parts for any of this stuff." They had to replace my Kenmore microwave. I've now got a hot point because the other one went out. And I think the refrigerators are going out like crazy because I see the maintenance man moving them out by the dumpster. So, yeah, it's costing them in the long run for being so cheap in the beginning. Okay, so the third extension was denied. Real America lied and told them that NIPSCO has not turned on the electricity yet. I drove by frequently to see the progress, and the electric was on. There was a total of 7 or 8 month delay for tenants to move in. This isn't about drama. This isn't about truth, safety, and accountability. And this is happening here. It's happening somewhere else. Boundless Brains Talk Radio will continue to shine light where others won't. How would you have dealt with this situation? Please leave a comment. I have a video I made on YouTube called The Year My Life Took a Turn. I made it to help others who may be going through the same situation. It explains my medical condition, and it's really Unbelievable. If you like to see why I'm terrified of possible infections, just go and search the Boundless Brains Talk Radio on YouTube and click video and then click on the year my life took a turn. You can hear the replay of the live broadcast, this live broadcast, on YouTube. Just go, like I said, to search Boundless Brains Talk Radio, click on the live, or if you want to see that video, click on the video. Like, subscribe, and comment. Hope you join me next time and take care.